So there's one other thing that you talked about now, which is interoperability, right? So that's one big word that's really amazing. So how do you see this interoperability between, let's say, the Hyperledger products, right? You said, okay, Fabric has some interoperability with EVM, but Bezu is the one that's EVM more, it's more EVM compatible. But how are the other Hyperledger products with related to interoperability between them?
Yeah, so we here at the Hyperledger Foundation understood early on that it wasn't going to be one blockchain to rule them all, right? We knew that there was going to be different approaches, but that essentially these are networks of networks, right? And that especially in the corporate enterprise space, companies need to participate in multiple networks, right? Let's say a supply chain and trade finance network. So how do you go about moving those assets from network to network and doing it to the core of the principles of blockchain, right? So that there's no double spending and all that. So early on in 2020, there was actually a lab that was started with Accenture and Fujitsu. And that lab then became a project, and it's called Hyperledger Cacti. Today, it's called Hyperledger Cacti. It has multiple contributions by Accenture. IBM also did a major contribution to Cacti last year with a lab that they had, which is called Weaver. And there are just 2 weeks ago, R3 did a contribution specific to Corda called Harmonia, and it's currently in the labs as well. So R3, for those of you who don't know, R3 has a project called Corda that is also used in a lot of financial services use cases as well. And if you think about a lot of these networks, they say a fabric to Corda, right? A fabric to Corda network. Those connectors have actually been built and have been part of Hyperledger Cacti for a long time. So you can connect Fabric to Corda, or you can connect Fabric to Quorum, or you can connect Fabric to Bezu, or you can do Bezu to Corda. And these are all connectors that are basically built in the Hyperledger Cacti project. And think of it, it's like an SDK of SDKs for blockchains with all different approaches, and it's very modularized. So you can come in and you can build your own plugin to Cacti, right? If you want to build a Polygon to Fabric connector that then people can reuse. So interoperability is going to continue to be key. And we have, I think, some of the world's leading developers working in the Hyperledger Foundation, in the Hyperledger Cacti project, hands-on. Like these are companies like Accenture and Fujitsu and IBM and Huawei and others who are building these multi-networks globally for their enterprise customers, and they're all in the Cacti community building these connectors for these networks to interoperate.